to the different subcommittees. We will have a lot of work to do, and so we're going to try to be as adept as possible to getting on and off Zoom calls and figuring out different rooms should we need to do that. So first we have, and I hope everybody's all rested from the holidays. And Representative Walker, do you want to say a few words of welcome?
I just want to welcome everybody to Appropriations 2021, and I look forward to working with all of you. I see some new faces in here, and I'm very excited about this year. We've come a long way for the last 10 months, and it's been a tough 10 months, and I think all of our members are anxiously awaiting the process of doing the budget for the people of Connecticut. I'm excited. I think that we've learned a lot over these last 10 months, and we've learned a lot of things that we need to address too. So in our subcommittees, I hope that's going to be part of the discussion, is how we got here and what can we do to make it better from what we had before. I thank everybody for coming, and we'll go over the other stuff a little later. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Senator Minor.
Thank you, Senator Austin. You know, I am looking forward to my return role on the Appropriations Committee. I think I said a number of years ago in my first stint that it sure would be a lot more fun if you got this appointment when there was plenty of cash around, but I never seem to get that point in time. At least the two chairs and I have worked together, I think, in the past, and so I'm not expecting any surprises, and I don't have any up my sleeve either. I think to the extent that we're able to hammer out some agreeable solutions, that'll be good for the state. And to the extent that we can't, I think those on our side of the aisle should be able to explain why it is that we think we should be going in a different direction. But I'm optimistic and look forward to the work.
Thank you very much, Senator. Representative France. I know you're here somewhere.
I saw him.
Yep.
Yeah, he is on. He was on.
Yeah, he is. Mike, are you on? I know I see he's on, but, and he's not muted according to my screen. So we'll try to get back to him soon. We do have our administrator, Susan Keene. Susan, if you want to introduce any of that staff, I'll introduce Neil to introduce his staff next. But if you want to just introduce Allie and Steve Palmer, etc. So
I will go first. I want to introduce everybody to my new aide, Allie Kozlowskis. Allie has been around for a couple of years, and she is now joined. Allie, where are you? I am looking, Allie.
Right here.
There we go. Okay. And I want everybody to get to know her. And Allie, if they get pushy, just mute them or push them out of the way. They won't. They'll be gentle. Trust me. They'll be gentle for the first week or two with you, and then after that, it's done. But I want to welcome you and thank you for working with me this term. I look forward to it, and I think it's going to be exciting. So thank you.
Thank you.
My apologies, Senator. I was renaming people.
okay, I figured. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the hook for that. And then we also have Steve Palmer, who is my aide here. He will be doing a lot of the helping a lot with the scheduling and any issues that the Senate Democrats may have. So he is online and and he will be able to keep us all in lockstep with each other. And, okay, hold on, Representative Wilson. We also have Neil Ayers here, the head of the Office of Fiscal Analysis. Neil, if you want to introduce your staff, please. And we count on the Office of Fiscal Analysis. There are nonpartisan staff that we need to have in appropriations and provide us with a lot of information.
Thank you, Senator. Again, I'm Neil Ayers, the Director of Office of Fiscal Analysis. We're your staff of 19 analysts, 3 admin, and 4 section chiefs. On with us today are 4 section chiefs. We have Rob Weishaupt, who covers health and human service areas. We have Alan Shepard, who does education and municipal runs, or the staff under him does. We have Chris Perillo, who does his analyst covers state employees and a variety of other areas. And we have Mike Murphy, who covers the finance, revenue, and bonding issues. So you'll probably be seeing less of him and his people. But we're happy to be back for another year.
Neil, before you do that, could we go through the names and maybe have the people wave so that they know who they are? I mean, the whole purpose, hopefully, with the Zoom is for people to see their faces. Okay.
I don't think all the analysts are on. I think just the chiefs. I think they're all here. First, we have Rob Weishaupt.
At least the chiefs. Try it again. Just show the chiefs so that they can all see who they are, please.
Sure. Chris Perillo is waving right now, I can see.
Okay.
It would be helpful if they said hi so that that would activate their
screen. So
their screen.
Okay, we'll start with Chris then.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Chris. I've been with OFA for about 20 years and looking forward to another session. Thank you.
Okay.
Rob, you around?
I am. Rob Weishaupt. I've been around a little bit longer than Chris, so I'm a little older than he is. So
we don't see your smiling face, Rob.
I know I didn't activate the video. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I know Mike's
wise
on
man.
with us.
Go ahead.
I think Mike Murphy was on with us.
Mike.
Good afternoon. Looking forward to the 2021 session. As Neil mentioned, my primary area is finance, revenue, and bonding, but we do cover several major appropriations areas, including transportation, debt service, DCD, and Department of Labor. So looking forward to a great budget.
And last but not least is Alan Shepard, the Dean of OFA.
Dean, yeah, this 37th session. Only Ms. Keene has me beat.
Wow.
So, ready to go. One last time.
Thank you, Neil. Then we have LCO, Nick Monbase and Chris.
Hey everyone, Nick Bombase from LCO. It's weird to say, I think this is my 8th session staffing approach, so looking forward to another good one. We'll see how it goes.
Hello, Chris Tringali. This is my 3rd session with the probes and 4th session overall.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And Representative France, did you get your microphone to work?
Well, let's see, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Great. Technology is a wonderful thing. As I was saying at the beginning, I'm actually excited to be back on appropriation for my 4th term and looking forward to working with Senator Austin and Representative Walker in a new role as well as Senator Minor in a new role as ranking member. So it's going to be an interesting session given the projections, but looking forward to the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Susan, did I miss any staff?
No.
Alrighty, that's good. So we're going to start a meeting very shortly. And Susan, if you want to go through some of the Zoom rules for people so that they know what they can and cannot do while on Zoom.
There we go. So we're going to ask Well, actually, before I start going through the bullet points, many of you, blessedly, are old Zoom hands with appropriations because we had our informational hearings through the summer and fall with agencies. So for some of you, this will be a reminder, and for others of you who are brand new to the committee and how we operate, here are the rules or guidelines. So it would be really helpful, to the best of your ability, if you can log on at least 5 minutes early, so that if there are any issues, we can troubleshoot those issues. For instance, we have someone who came in as a phone number right now who I can't rename because I don't know who they are. So that's the kind of troubleshooting issue that we would need to deal with early on. It's one of the reasons why in that contact information sheet that I sent to members, that we're asking for any and all possible devices and numbers that you might be entering a meeting under, so that we have that identifying information for you and that we can let you in and rename you. The chairs and ranking members during the summer and fall had set a policy that if we don't recognize someone's name, device, or number, we don't let them in. So we'll work through those bugs. We'll work with you. One of the things that those of you who are very experienced with CGA hearings and meetings on Zoom have discovered, that they tend to be conducted at a slower pace because we need to maintain the quality of the live stream in order to preserve the integrity, particularly when we're doing roll call votes, the integrity of the vote. All participants will be muted until required to speak. We didn't necessarily do that today, but we will. If you're not muted when you come in, we'll be muting you. And members need to use the raise hand feature at the bottom of the participant pane in order to signify a desire to speak, to ask questions, or to make comments, and then the chair will recognize you. So here's where it gets a little trickier, and we've only experienced one roll call vote on the Appropriations Committee, and so this bullet point was drafted so that we are in compliance with the joint rules. For roll call votes, committee staff, and in most cases that will be me, will need to see members in order to authenticate the person voting. For your vote, in order to, again, sadly, we have to slow the pace of meetings down, and to help us with authentication, we're asking that you say Senator or Representative Smith votes yes. The reason that we're asking this is because if you just get a yay or a nay, your picture may not pop up on the screen for me to see it in order for me to record the vote. So I need that little extra window of your voice to help me authenticate the voter.
Okay.
So for voice votes, and veteran members of the committee are experienced with this, we're going to prepare you all for a voice vote by having the chair make an announcement. And at that point, you can all unmute your mic, and it will be quite the experience to hear you all simultaneously saying yay or nay. We discovered one of the lessons learned is that occasionally people were using the emoticons. When someone was speaking, they were clapping their hands or using the thumbs up or the thumbs down. And the chairs have determined that emoticons will not be allowed. And lastly, the Zoom chat will not be enabled except for you to communicate with the staff host. The reason that we do this is because we discovered this summer, the first time out, that the chat can be seen on CTN. I'm not sure if it's YouTube Live as well, but I certainly know that it can be seen on CTN, so we want to avoid that. And with that, if you have any questions, the chairs or I are happy to answer them.
So thank you very much, Madam Administrator. Also, Madam Administrator, if you could go over a little bit when we have documents, where those documents will be. So if people are looking for them or someone's asking them where those documents are, could you just tell them how they would access that on the web or on our appropriation site?
Yes.
You need me to pick you up for 2 o'clock, right?
Allie, can you do me a favor and just make sure that people are muted? Thank you. Let me share my screen again. So, for those of you who are new to the General Assembly, on the CGA homepage, you can look under committees for appropriations, and all of the agendas, minutes, eventually after the fact proposed substitute language will be there. Documentation for committee meetings, you can access our agendas, any testimony that we've uploaded, eventually transcripts, vote tally sheets. We also put our collective bargaining and arbitration awards up here. Joint favorable reports will be created after we JF bills. And if you need information on years gone by, you can always click on the archives and select the year and what documentation you're looking for. And there you go. So if you ever have, there will be a conversation and email down the line in terms of how we're going to be going paperless for committee meeting packets. That's still being worked out. So I'll have an update that'll be sent to members once we've all been trained, all the committee staff have been trained in the use of OneNote. We're going to be using OneNote for those of you who are familiar with OneNote. Notebooks will be created for committee meetings with all the information, the bills and substitute language and agendas, anything that you would normally have gotten in from appropriations in paper form for a committee meeting. We'll be creating a notebook in OneNote. So we'll be helping, we'll learn it first and then we'll teach you all how to use it so that you can access documents for committee meetings.
Thank you very much, Madam Administrator. Could you prepare to do a roll call for attendance purposes so that we know who has gotten the information? And I'll call on Representative Abercrombie for a question or comment.
Just thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question to Madam Administrator. When it comes to our Zoom invites, will those be going to us as individual representatives or will they be going to our aides or both?
So my plan was to send them, as I have over the summer, was to send them just to legislators. Now, if there is a desire for everybody to get it, just remember that it's a huge distribution list for me. I don't need to go wah, wah, wah. I mean, I'm happy to do that. If members want their aides included in the distribution list, I can do that. But my plan right now was, as I did with this Zoom invitation, was to send it to members and not to aides as well.
And I think that's the most efficient way to do it. I just wanted to make sure that all of my colleagues who have not been having meetings through Zoom, through the summer on their committees like we have, we're all speaking the same language. I don't want anybody to assume that their aide is getting it and then it will go to them. I want everybody to understand the same procedure. So it's up to these chairs what their desire is, but I agree with you. I think it's gonna be chaotic enough with the, what do we have, 52 members? I don't even know, I apologize. But, to have them on a Zoom, never mind 52 plus 52 aides. So I'm perfectly fine with that.
And I thank you for asking that question so that we can clarify that from members. Thank you very much, Representative Abercrombie.
Thank you very much. Representative Dillon? Do you have a comment or a question?
I have a question through you to the administrator. On the 5-minute rule or the 5-minute suggestion to log in if we're using phones. Many of us will be kind of at the mercy of the scheduling of multiple commitments that we have. So that I don't have a remedy for that, but there may be some of us in another public hearing or that may be phoning in when we're on Zoom in another meeting. And I just wanted to suggest that we have a workaround for that.
And thank you for that, Representative Dillon. And that's the reason that I worded it as in asking you and making the request that you try to the best of your ability. If you're able to log in 5 minutes earlier, it allows us to do that troubleshooting that I was speaking of. If you can't, and you're absolutely right, there may be some members that have 2, 3, possibly 4 things going on simultaneously, particularly when our subcommittees start their work. So it would be impossible. But to the best of your ability, if you can get in early, whether you're getting in early for approach or you're getting in early for a judiciary or whatever committee, the earlier you can get on, it helps us to be able to resolve issues quickly. Because once Ally and I are in a meeting, it becomes our ability to address concerns. It's not that we won't be able to address them, but it's going to take us a little bit longer to address them because of the housework we need to do, the housekeeping issues that we have to deal with in terms of admitting members and renaming members. So that's a process. And in addition to members, we are also going to be joined during the session by caucus staff, as well as our attorneys and our OFA folks. So there's a whole host of people. I mean, if right now we have 59 participants in this meeting, and that's not the entirety of our committee. So as you can see, there's a lot of staff involved as well. So whatever you can do to help us out so we can help you out, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Madam Administrator. Representative Walker, followed by Representative Ryan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also want to emphasize to everybody that the Zoom link that you will be given is not to be shared. That is a link for you and you alone. If you share it, that does not allow them, they will not be able to get into the committee meeting because of the fact that when we do that, it then jeopardizes the security on the Zoom. So it's important that everybody understand that this is for you and for you alone to participate in our committee meetings. We had an experience where people shared it on one of our meetings recently, and we had some persons that had like 22 names up there on the screen, and they were only one person, but they took everybody else's name up there. So it ends up becoming very complex and confusing for the public, especially as they're trying to look at the meetings and they see Tony Walker under Kathy Abercrombie and Pat Dillon. That's because Zoom cannot accommodate. Once you have come in, it then verifies who you are and your numbers, and it then causes a problem for us for security purposes. And what we will do, and the Madam Administrator and Ally will be very quick to do, is to either mute you or to kick you out if you are not on the roster to be in the meeting. So please understand that you cannot share this with anybody else. People can watch it on CTN, but they cannot come into our meeting. And if you think about it, we don't, when we had meetings that were live where we were there, people could come in and listen and watch, but they could not be part of the discussion body or the voting body. They had to be an observer, and that has to come from the outside. So I just want to warn you on that. That's going to be, people might not like that, but that's the only way we can keep control of the meetings and the committees. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Representative. Representative Ryan.
This is kind of tangent to what Sue was just talking about, but as we have to go from one meeting to another and we leave the appropriate meeting, is there somebody going to be on hand to let us re-enter the meeting when we come back, say from a public health meeting or something like that? Is that going to be easily done, or will we be out in limbo until somebody finds us on the screen and that we want to come back?
It's Representative Ryan. I will be on all Zoom meetings and hearings. I trust that unless we need to assign Ally to something else during the course of a meeting, Ally will be on as well. And in all likelihood, our aim is going to be to have a third person. So there will be a host and two co-hosts to be able to manage just that issue that you raised, because we understand that members are going to be coming and going. So we will be there, and we'll jump on it as soon as you come back into the waiting room.
Great, thank you very much.
Madam Administrator, could you do a roll call just so that we can practice this one time around?
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Austin.
Here.
Walker.
Here. Tony Walker here.
Thank you.
Senator Austin here. Kathy Austin here.
We'll get the hang of it. Minor.
Senator Minor here.
France.
Representative France here.
Abercrombie.
Representative Abercrombie here.
Abrams.
Senator Abrams here.
Anwar.
Senator Saud Anwar here.
Baker.
Representative Baker here.
Betts.
Representative Betts here.
Valinsky.
Representative Belinsky here.
Candelaria.
Candelaria here.
Ciccarella. And did I get that
Senator, great job. That's a tough one too. Senator Ciccarella here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Curry.
Representative Curry here.
Yay.
Dathan.
Representative Dathan here.
Dillon.
Representative Dillon here.
DeMassa.
Representative DeMassa here.
Felipe.
Representative Felipe here.
Ferraro. Flexer.
Senator Flexer here.
Gibson.
Representative Gibson is here.
Gilchrist. Gonzalez.
Here. Representative Gonzalez here.
Thank you, ma'am. Haddad.
Representative Haddad here.
Representative Carol Hall. Representative Joshua Hall. Harrison.
Representative Harrison here.
Thank you. Hartley.
Senator Hartley here.
Hayes.
Rep Hayes here.
Howard.
Representative Howard here.
Johnson.
Representative Johnson here.
Kennedy.
Representative Kennedy here.
Kushner.
Senator Kushner here.
Lesser.
Senator Lesser in the negative.
Don't make her laugh. Lopes.
Senator Lopes here.
McCarty.
Representative McCarty here.
McCrory.
Senator McCrory is reunited with Suzanne again, and he's present. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Senator. McGee. Now, Representative McGee, I know you're there somewhere. All right, I'm going to move on. Nolan.
Representative McGee is here.
Thank you, sir. Nolan. Pavlak D'Amato.
Representative Pavlak D'Amato here.
Porter.
Representative Porter here.
Reyes. Rosario.
Representative Rosario here.
Ryan.
Representative Ryan here.
Sanchez. Sims.
Representative Sims here.
Summers. Terziak.
Representative Terziak here.
Turco.
Representative Turco here.
Wilson.
Representative Wilson, present.
Winfield.
Senator Gary Winfield here.
Zawistowski.
Representative Zawistowski here.
Thank you all very much. That went really well. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Madam Administrator. For a question or a comment, Representative Wilson?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So I heard that we were supposed to be able to log into multiple Zoom meetings at the same time. I attempted that today to log in here and on aging, and Zoom kicked me out of this meeting when I logged into aging. Do we know if the ability to log into multiple meetings is available?
So there is not an availability to log into multiple Zoom meetings from the same hard equipment. You'd have to have 2 different laptops or 3 different laptops, as the case may be. So if you had your own personal one and you brought home your computer from the LOB, you could have 2 different computers and be operating 2 different Zooms on those 2 different pieces of equipment, but you couldn't operate 4 out of those 2 different pieces of equipment.
So if I have 5 pieces of equipment in my home office, I could log into 5 Zoom meetings.
You could.
Thank you very much.
Okay, if you have 5 pieces of equipment in your one home office, I'd like to know that.
Come see anytime.
Okay, I'll be by.
Senator Minor knows it well.
Okay, I will stop out there. Senator Abrams, or excuse me, Representative Wilson, did you have any other comments or questions?
No, thank you. That was the key question I had.
Thank you very much. Senator Abrams.
Thank you, Senator Austin. First of all, excellent job, Susan and chairs, on that presentation. It was very helpful to hear that. I had a question in terms of if you join after the roll is taken. If you come into the meeting, is there a way to make sure that the minutes reflect that you were in attendance?
I think that all you have to do is identify yourself when you're coming in, and for attendance purposes, we would make sure that happens. But I would caution people, if we're going to be taking a vote and the vote is not left open. So if we're voting on an amendment, you would have to be there when that amendment is being voted on in order to count in the vote for that particular amendment. If you're there voting on an item and the votes are left open for a certain time frame, then you could have your vote recorded for that as long as it's before that time frame has ended. But amendments generally are voted on and then voted up, yay or nay. And so people will need to really pay attention to the votes that we're having. But for the purposes of making sure that we have attendance recorded for a meeting, that we should be able to address.
Yeah,
So just when we join, I'm sorry, go ahead, Susan.
I'm sorry, Senator Abrams. I was going to share with you that one of the reasons I couldn't respond to Senator Austin a bit ago was because I was doing just that. As I was letting people in, I was recording them on my attendance sheet.
Okay.
So we will be very vigilant to get everybody. And when in doubt, my plan is for us to reach out after a meeting and say, were you on the Zoom meeting because I didn't see you and I don't have you recorded. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I can't control a whole lot, but at least in terms of attendance, I want to make sure that attendance is as accurate as we can make it.
Thank you. I do disagree. I think you do control a whole lot, Susan. But other than that, yeah. Thank you very much.
Representative Candelaria for a
Thank
comment
you,
or a
Senator.
question.
Just a quick comment. I just want to share the same concerns that everyone else is sharing. Sometimes at some point, we're all going to be having multiple meetings from different committees at the same time. How are we going to manage, or is there a conversation about holding committee meetings separately at different times so that we could attend all of them? Because you talked about specifically a vote, for example, we have to be present. But if I don't have five electronics. I have only one. So how will we manage, right? Attending a meeting or voting in that particular committee and jumping here. How are we going to manage that? I'm just a little bit concerned about that part.
Well, we're going to have to manage it and learn how to manage it, in regards to making sure that we're able to do that. I think that that's been one of the greater discussion on the rules committee. And I know that what they're saying is that we're going to try and handle it as best as possible. But as well as I, you're not going to be able to have one meeting because an appropriations committee meeting could last 5 minutes. Even the organizational meeting is going to be an hour for approps.
Right.
So I don't know that we're going to have that ability. We're just going to have to take our time and work our way through this. And I'm hoping eventually we all get back in person as soon as possible. But even when we were in person, we didn't attend every meeting because we just physically could not be in 5 places at the same time. So we would, all of us, just because the public is also listening, all of us would either look at the meeting, check out the testimony on the other committee meetings that we may not attend in person, but we would be making sure that we were getting the pertinent information. So we're just going to all have to work together on it. Okay. Representative Abercrombie, followed by Senator Kushner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a little bit of information that may help our colleagues in this conversation. As a chair of another committee, we've been discussing all these issues also. First of all, it's really important that you fill out your contact sheets for Sue. We all know that texting is the best way to communicate between each other. So that's really important, guys, that you fill that out and get it back to the administrator as soon as possible. Secondly, when people talk about multiple devices, don't forget that it's very easy to download Zoom on your phone. So you can even download it on your phone just to be able to call in to vote in any of your committees. So if you have one device as your Zoom device that you're looking at to follow the committee, but you need to vote in another committee, download it on your phone, easy peasy. And then the administrators can also see your face, which is going to be really important in the process of voting. So just a little bit of tidbits, and I hope it's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative. Senator Kushner?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was going to actually point out the same thing that we just heard from Representative Abercrombie about our phones. But I also have a question about the Zoom accounts, because I was under the impression that we may have to have more than one Zoom account in order to log in to Zoom. And I don't know if you know the answer to this. I know, Senator Austin, you're often on many calls at the same time. You manage that really well. So I wondered if we log in. I have a personal Zoom account. I do not have like a Senate Zoom account. I use my personal Zoom account to get into these meetings, but I was wondering if we should have official, a separate account that we just use for Senate business, and whether or not we can log in, whether we need multiple accounts to log in on multiple devices.
So my understanding, and someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I before I got my own Zoom account, I could still sign into Zoom, because the Zoom account that manages this meeting is a Zoom account at the General Assembly. Although Susan Keene was using her own personal one while we were logging in this summer. So I don't think you need multiple Zoom accounts, and I don't think we need one that's paid for by the General Assembly. So logging in, it does not require you to have you can log in as, in quotes, a guest into there without having your own personal Zoom account. But as we all know, every meeting, the General Assembly committee meetings are going to be via Zoom, but we all have different platforms that we're using, whether it's WebEx, or it's Uber Conference, or it's any of the other social media platforms that are being developed. I have more of them on my phone and on my computer. And for those of you who have a computer at home, I would remind you, you can bring your laptop home from the General Assembly, which would give you two platforms to use for two different Zoom meetings, which will help out with some people who may not be on 5 to 8 committees. Some people are only on 1 or 2 committees. So I think that that's a way that we can handle some of this. But we're just going to have to work through the kinks, guys. It's something that we all are adept at doing, 3 or 4 or 5 things at the same time. We all have families. We all juggle rather well. And I think that all of you have the capacity to do that, but we're just going to have to take our time and be cognizant of that. So are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, wait a minute, Senator Flexer. Talking about juggling. May, did you have something?
Yes, I just started nap time. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a question that I don't need an answer to right this moment, but I do think it's something to consider as we think about how this committee usually functions and how we'll function moving forward. Usually, especially in the subcommittee process, we could call the front desk and OFA and say, hi, I want to talk to so-and-so, who might know about this, who might know about that. We could walk in, get those questions answered. So I just wonder what the process is going to be for communicating. Obviously, calling the front desk at OFA isn't going to be an option anymore. We have people's desk numbers in the LOB. So again, I don't need an answer for this today, but I think it would be helpful to know what the communication structure is going to be, particularly with the nonpartisan staff, so that we can continue to have the dialogues that we need to have to do our work.
Okay, sure. Neil, do you have some comments on that?
Sure. I'd say the best way to contact our analysts are probably emails. Their work email, they're all very diligent about checking that on an ongoing regular basis. If you subsequently need a phone discussion, because that's often easier, follow up via that. But I would say start with an email. And if you don't know who you may need to talk to, reach out to me, reach out to any of the chiefs. We'll get right back to you.
Okay, and then just generally, will there be an expectation that if we send an email and ask for a phone number, we'll be able to get a phone number where we can have a live conversation instead of an email conversation?
Given that we're spread across the state, not everyone has the best cell coverage is one of the things we've discovered. We'll be able to work out something.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Kathy?
thank you. Thanks,
Kathy-
May.
Kathy, this is Tony. I just want to jump in. I hear you, Senator Flexer. But please understand that there are 51 members just on our committee. And we don't, the OFA is doing a yeoman's lift. They don't have the depth that OPM does. So we have to be conscious of that and try and work with them so that we don't end up creating more anxiety for the OFA staff. So I think the emails.
We're not anxious.
I'm sorry?
We're not anxious. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, right. You're not now. We're trying to keep you around, so please, thank you.
She means that we don't have as many members as OFA. OFA has about 10 times the amount of staff that we do. We certainly have the depth of knowledge, but not necessarily the number of people. So Senator Minor, do you have anything that you want to say wrapping up the conversation here?
No, thank you. Just happy to be back.
Me too. I wish we were meeting in person. Representative France.
Maybe we could figure that out.
I think so. Representative France?
No additional comments. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Representative Walker.
No, I look forward to working with everybody. And I don't know if we're not going to talk about, we'll talk about subcommittees at a later date, I gather.
Yes, yeah, we can talk about subcommittees and all of that at a later meeting. Madam Administrator, next meetings?
We don't have one, but I have a few housekeeping things before we adjourn.
Okay.
Members have been very good in emailing to me that form that has their subcommittee requests and their contact information. Keep them coming. It would be wonderful if I could receive them by Monday so that in the case of Representative Walker, Representative France, and Senator Minor, I can get that information out to them regarding subcommittee requests. And the budget hearings, just the chairs had asked that I mentioned that we anticipate that we'll get the governor's budgets the week of February 1st or thereabouts. So if that's the case, then our budget hearings would start the week of February 8th and run through the week of February 15th. So 2 weeks. We do have a couple of state holidays in there. So 8 days and nights of togetherness. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much. And Madam Administrator, just so you know, I see Representative Nolan is here for the attendance. Was there anybody who missed the attendance that we did not recognize? Seeing none. All right, everybody, we're going to be having a lot of meetings. Our next meeting will be to talk about subcommittees and subcommittee membership and try to figure out the concepts of setting up those meetings, and be prepared for the budget address coming up. I'd strongly suggest that you look at the documents on the OFA website. They're detailed. They will give you a perspective of the budget that is both historical and what could be pending. Very good information that will allow you to get that base of information. Take some time and read them. They're an easy read. So you're not necessarily looking for technical information. And that could be a place where you could start asking those email questions if you're concerned about something that's in those documents. The FAR report in particular gives you some really succinct information on where the state's budget is and what we can plan for. So thank you all so much. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll look forward to talking to you all soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, Madam Chair.